Hi, I'm here with Tom from NH Research, and behind us is a high voltage battery test system. Enclosed, thankfully, because it is high voltage. Tom's going to tell us a little bit about this. Tom, explain to us, what do we have here?
Sure. So the 9300, this is a, as you mentioned, battery test system, but broader range of what it can do is it's a bidirectional DC supply. That means that it's going to be able to either sync or source DC power in and out. We regenerate that power when we are in a sync mode, and we'll put that back onto the 480 facility wall. And then certainly sourcing, we can do the same. General idea is, yes, you mentioned battery test. It is able to charge and discharge a battery, but it also has a feature, battery emulation mode, and that would allow you to test, for instance, an inverter or perhaps some sort of dynamometer type test system. So it can allow for power to flow back and forth, but let the inverter or your DUT be the actual current driver, and we're just a voltage potential holding that and trying to stabilize that voltage as needed, just like a battery would.
And you're talking about significant levels of power, hence the reason you're sending it back to the grid when you're generating.
Absolutely, yes. So this particular cabinet is a 100 kilowatt building block, so this single channel 100 kilowatts. You can then build that up as you need, so the more cabinets you add on, the higher power you can get to. We can reach up to 2.4 megawatts right now with a single test system.
Okay. Can you take us through some of the settings on this?
All right, so touch panel that we have here, first of all, I'll just go through the measurement side of things. What we're looking at up front is, yes, it is a full measure, it has full measurement capability as well. So we monitor voltage, current, power, amp hours, kilowatt hours, and then this time in mode as well. And this would be what mode you're in, whether you're in this case, we're in a charge mode at the moment, as in we're charging a battery. You could also see discharge on here, you could see battery mode on here, just depending on which setting you're in. You'll also notice that we are actually measuring that out directly off the touch panel. And then we have minimums and maximums for each. So this is in the set time test that you've been working. It tells you exactly how low you've gone and the absolute maximum how high you've gone as well. Of course, we're monitoring this repeatedly. Off the touch panel, we can do measurements within half-second intervals. Certainly with the software-driven LabVIEW drivers and things like that, we have much more measurement capability, but the touch panel itself can do half-second intervals for measurement. As we go into the settings tab, this is where you determine that operating mode I was mentioning. So right now we're actually, as you see, in a charging state, as in we're charging a battery, but there are a couple other modes here. Standby mode, this would just be, we're ready to run, but we're sitting at idle at this point. Your charge mode, again, charging the battery. Your discharge mode, that's going to be discharging the battery or syncing current to our system. And then you have your battery mode, again, for that inverter type test where you're trying to just set a voltage. If we wanted to, say, switch into a discharge, right now we're, again, charging, you can do a constant voltage, current, power, or resistance, or you can do any combination of the four. So in this case, we could say, for instance, right now you see we're at a voltage of about 320 volts. We can switch and move into a discharge to come down to, say, 250 volts. You can set your max current. We'll just say 200 amps for fun for the moment. And then we can max out our power and minimize our resistance to just do the most that the system's capable of. Again, in this case, 100 kilowatts would be your maximum power. When we hit that OK, you'll see our mode has now changed. We're now into a discharge mode. You'll see this voltage start to come down. This would be your battery voltage. In this case, for a battery test, starting to drain. We're measuring that 200 amps. And then you can see where your power is as well. We also have a chart feature directly off the front of the system. And so this, you can see the actual battery curve, or the curve that we've been actually testing in this case. So voltage, current, and power, we're monitoring all three of those. And so you can actually see that flow. You can follow along with what your battery has actually been doing in this case.
Tom, it's an interesting system when you got a lot of batteries to test. Where can our viewers go to find out more about it?
Absolutely. nhresearch.com is the best place. We do have all of our data sheets, much beyond the 9300. We do again, a full host of power electronics test equipment, AC and DC, and all of our data sheets, many of the manuals and things like that would be on there as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.